Welcome to the AI Blueprint. This is your weekly briefing where we cut through the noise and get right to the most critical developments in AI.
Okay, let's dive right in. You know, every single week it feels like AI is moving from just being this abstract concept to, actual tools we can get our hands on. So that's exactly where we're going to start, with some of the coolest new products that just hit the scene.
Okay, let's talk about the new AI toolkit. What I think is really interesting this week is how specialized these new tools are. Seriously, we're moving way past the general purpose chatbots. Now we're seeing these highly focused AI assistants, and they're built to solve very real problems for, developers, for content creators, and hey, even for our inner child. First up, we've got something called GLM-5V-Turbo, and this thing is wild. It's a new kind of AI that can actually see. So think about it like this. You can show it a screenshot of a website, and it will literally write the code to click the buttons, fill out the forms, and just navigate the site, all by itself. I mean, this is a total game changer for stuff like software testing or just automating all those boring, repetitive digital chores. Next, for anyone who's ever wrestled with WordPress, and let's be honest, that's a lot of us, there's WP Copilot. This is designed to make life so much easier. It's what's called an agentic AI. And what that really means is it doesn't just give you suggestions, it actually does things for you. It can help you schedule posts, it can optimize your site for search engines, manage your content. It's like having a real digital assistant living right inside your dashboard. And now for something a little more fun, Tama 96. This is just a brilliant example of how AI is getting more personal, more integrated into our digital lives. Remember Tamagotchis from the 90s? Well, this is a virtual pet just like that. But get this, it lives in your coding terminal and can even interact with your other AI agents. It's a great reminder that the future of AI isn't all about work and productivity. It's also about fun and maybe even a little bit of companionship. So you see these cool new tools, and you gotta ask, who's actually building all this stuff? Well, let's pull back the curtain a bit and see what the big industry titans are up to. Because they're not just building products, they're literally shaping the future of how we work. One of the biggest conversations and fears around AI is always about jobs, right? But what's interesting is how leaders like Fed Chair Jerome Powell are trying to shift that narrative. The advice is pretty clear. Don't fear AI, master it. The point is, don't look at AI as a threat that's coming for your job. Look at it as a powerful tool that you need to master. Honestly, the single most valuable skill you can probably develop right now is learning how to work with these AI systems. And we're seeing this idea take hold everywhere. I mean, just look at how diverse the applications are. You've got Google pushing video generation. You have Meta using AI to develop more sustainable concrete. Yes, concrete. Then there's OpenAI and Descript working to break down language barriers in videos. And at the very same time, you've got companies like AWS and Together AI that are down in the trenches, working on the fundamental building blocks, the hardware, the kernels, to make all AI more reliable and way more powerful. All right, so that's what's happening now. But if you really want to know where this is all going, you have to look at the cutting edge of research. This is where the sharpest minds are tackling the toughest problems, and it gives us a pretty good sneak peek at what the next wave of AI is going to look like. So here's a huge one. Can AI write code at a PhD level? And I'm not talking about whipping up a simple script. I mean the really complex, heavy-duty code you need for things like computer vision, for understanding 3D shapes and spaces. The kind of stuff that usually takes years of study and a PhD to really get a handle on. Well, to figure that out, researchers have created something called GeoCodeBench. Think of it as a super hard exam for AIs. It's a brand new benchmark that's designed specifically to test if an AI can write that kind of expert-level code. And by having this standardized test, the whole field can now measure progress and really start pushing these models to get even better. Okay, let's talk security. As we start giving AI agents more freedom to act on their own, a really scary new threat pops up. Just imagine, you have an AI assistant that helps you manage your email. Now, what if a random spam email has a hidden command, one you can't even see, that secretly tells your AI to, transfer money or delete all your files? That's a real thing. It's called an indirect prompt injection attack, and it's a massive problem that researchers are scrambling to solve. And the solution here isn't as simple as just trying to filter out bad commands. The real focus now is on building defenses right into the core architecture of the AI agent itself. The idea is to make them fundamentally secure from the ground up, so they're just resistant to these kinds of hidden attacks from the very start. Here's another tricky one. With how powerful these language models are getting, it's now totally possible for an AI to write an entire scientific research paper.
And that brings up a massive question for the whole world of science and academia. How in the world do we trust these things? How do we check their quality, their reliability, and what are the risks? To try and get a handle on this, researchers have developed a new framework. It's called paper reconstruction evaluation. You can basically think of it as a super rigorous, systematic fact-checking system for papers written by AI. Its whole job is to sniff out inaccuracies, spot those dreaded hallucinations or made-up facts, and ultimately help us figure out if we can actually trust what the AI wrote.
Okay, so we've looked at new tools, we've seen what the big companies are doing, and we've peeked at the research frontier. So, what does it all add up to? Let's zoom out for a second and connect these dots to see the bigger picture that's emerging. If you look closely at everything we just talked about, the tools, the security research, the questions about academic papers, there's one common thread running through it all. And that's the massive challenge of responsible AI development. It's this incredible high-stakes balancing act, right? On one hand, you have this relentless push for innovation. And on the other, you have this absolute need to make sure that what we're building is safe, ethical, and actually good for society. Every single thing we've touched on today is another piece of that giant puzzle.
And that really brings us to the ultimate question that, frankly, everyone is trying to figure out right now. You've got three huge forces that are all shaping the future of AI. The insane speed of the technology itself, the colossal amounts of investment money pouring in, and then the slow, careful process of regulation. It's like a race between these three. And the real question isn't just which one's going to win, it's what kind of future the winner is going to build for the rest of us. And that is something for all of us to think about. Thanks for tuning in.